All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
I do, in fact, like to start the stream with claps sometimes when things go well. Shout out Viktor Hovland, Monday morning 43-1 finishes. That's what we need. Do we need to just go off of the grid, go off of social media to hit outright winners? If that's what it takes, I don't know if it's worth it. But that's what it took. Viktor Hovland gets it done, and what a little sweat that was, because 54-hole leader after Scotty goes over the green on Saturday on 18, and then Viktor could not play worse golf. I believe he lost strokes to the field on yesterday/today, I guess, his round, and shoots a 1 under round of 69 and wins at 21 under in a playoff versus Scotty Scheffler. If you tell me that Scotty only shoots 68 in round 4, I would be like, you are crazy. And if you would have told me Viktor Hovland shoots 69 in that round and wins the golf tournament, I would have also said, you are crazy. Nonetheless, we got it done. Viktor Hovland cracks us through for a nice little outright June winner. I mean, can we just get hot one time? Summer of Birdies is here. That's going to lead perfect segue to this next thing. Summer of Birdies is here. So let's just get a little hot. We do not, and speaking of that social media thing, we do not have a Twitter thread to read off of. So I'm going to go through the exact notes. So this is kind of like a little how I do things also. So a lot of people are saying when I post these Twitter threads, oh, this is just AI. This is just AI slop. Look at all of these words. This is a ton of words every single week, every single tournament, with stats and research and everything in between, tournament by tournament. Obviously, I'm not writing novels on Twitter. So yes, I do go into an AI software and I say, hey, can you make my words, Vincerix's words, into a Twitter thread? So that's just kind of how I do things in terms of those Twitter threads. So what I wanted to bring up, the two key things, is the short game performances from winners since 2017 to 2025. Like, it's not just pure ball striking that wins this event, like most events. Look at the short game spikes that winners have had since over the last, 7-8 years. And this is putting plus around the green. So 2017, +8. 2018, 13.6, 12.4, 5.2, 8.4, 7.6, 12.8 from Thompson, and 9.73 from Ryan Campbell. That is incredible short game spikes from the winners, and it's not something we usually see in these events. Also, we see not the best, most trendy golfer winners. This is the median birdie or better percentage of that season and the median bogey avoidance from that season in a given week. So it is median rank 82nd in the year and median rank 44th in the year. That's not just like the favorites. That's not the top guys in the field. And obviously, this isn't a golf course that the favorites are playing, but it just goes to show that we're not always going to get the easiest, most obvious winner at a golf course like this that just basically has everyone in the field. And I want to finally talk about comp courses. Look at all of the comp courses in terms of results on the leaderboard. Detroit, TPC Summerlin, Dye Stadium course, which is the Amex, River Highlands, and Sedgefield. I'm not going to read off every single name, but you could see some of the past winners, how they performed at these golf courses. And it's quite clear at these comp courses and style of golf courses lead to success. So look at these courses if you're looking at comp courses in terms of trying to find a winner this week. So that is what I'm looking at in terms of course fit this week, in terms of the course notes. Obviously, like I said, no Twitter thread to go off of. But in terms of stats, I'm really looking for two builds. A driving accuracy guy, or a long and straight bomber to get lucky lies and just spike with the putter. So that there's kind of two builds that I'm looking for. And I'm going to talk about multiple golfers. Firstly, I want to look at the winning scores over the last few years. We saw BC win at 18 under. Davey went at 28 under, took it super deep. 21 Sepp, 21 Poston, 19 Glover, 21 Fratelli, and who could forget Michael Kim winning at 27 under. He used to victory lap this scoring record all the time until Davis Thompson came in and broke that. So it's usually in the 20 range, and I would expect more of the same. Looking at the weather this week, we have leading up to tournament conditions, we have fairly dry conditions in Silvis, Illinois this week. And then once we get to Thursday, we have some lightning in the forecast, some rain on Friday, Saturday morning, and even into the Sunday. So expect some delays. We do have some potential wind. We do have some potential double-digit gusts. It looks pretty difficult in this PM wave. Expect them to maybe really move up the tee times as much as possible in the morning to try to combat this this lightning on Thursday. And then Friday, we have some more lightning with some more double-digit gusts. In terms of a wave split, I'm not really seeing much because it looks like with the delays, with the potential lightning at multiple times, we're not really going to know when the guys are going to go out. So I wouldn't take too much into it yet. Maybe circle back on that in Tambo and Alex's show on Wednesday. Ask them a question. But right now, I'm just seeing some potential maybe tougher conditions with the wind. We know the wind can blow this golf course. It's really the golf course's only defense. So that's what I'm looking for in terms of weather. If you really want to talk the nitty gritty wave split stuff, ask Tambo and Alex on Wednesday. Next thing I want to touch on is contest selection and the DFS board. First thing I will do is look at the DFS pricing. We have Chris Gotterup leading the way with Ben Griffin, Keith Mitchell, and then Keegan Bradley, Jacob Bridgman, Jackson Koiven, JT Poston, Jordan Spieth, Eric Cole, Michael Thorbjornsen rounding out this 9K range. The first golfer I wanted to look at is actually the man at the top. That is Chris Gotterup at $10,700. Chris Gotterup is coming off a decent week at the Travelers Championship. The around the green play is really, really, really causing him some harm. But at the core, he's always been a pretty decent and like not the best, but an okay chipper. Like not a red chipper too much. We see all this green in the around the green profile from Chris Gotterup, but the last 7 weeks, it's been rough for the around the green play. He has not missed a cut since the Genesis Invitational at Riviera. And looking at his course history, T4 back in 22, we were on him at like 400 to 1. I remember that. 250 to 1, I think it was. Finished T4, had a bad final round. The around the green play has been decent here. T21 back last year. And Chris Gotterup at this time, this point of his career, is a very, very different golfer. He is way more confident. He won this time last year in Scotland. I think did he finish T21 and then win the next week after that? So it was T21 then win. Yeah, we had Chris Gotterup last year 100 to 1 at the Scottish Open. So I don't mind him again this week. I really don't. I love him at the top. I don't think he's too expensive. And I love the profile. He's that bomber and get hot with the putter guy that we were potentially looking for. The putter has been really solid, has not lost strokes on the green since Riviera. That is a lot of starts of solid putting. So I love Chris Gotterup this week. He has some decent rounds at TPC River Highlands. Round 3 was amazing. He only shot like 61, I believe, 62. So nice round from Chris Gotterup. I love the profile going in all the way to the top. Before we get to the next golfer, I want to touch on this contest. It is this PGA Tour 15K driving range 3 entry max. This contest is kind of unique. Only 111 entrants, and you can enter this 3 times. So you're entering what? 450, you can turn that into 3,000, or you can turn that into more if you place in the top 26 for 2 lineups. So 26 divided by 111 equals 23%. 23.4% of the field gets paid out. That is really solid. We don't get quite the 300 number at 10th, but we get even better. We get 400 to 10th place, which is better than 10%. So I really, really, really like this contest to enter one lineup, even to max enter this. I think this is one of the better contests we've seen in like a non-signature event or smaller event. So this is where I'm going to be going. The second golfer I want to look at on the DraftKings board is actually down the board a little bit, and I think his price is just too cheap. That is $8,400 Sungjae. So Sungjae has not been playing the best golf. The man has lost his iron game. This has got to be the longest streak of his career without gaining strokes on approach. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 straight weeks in which he has lost strokes on approach. Sungjae also had one of his career worst approach seasons last year and still made it to Eastlake. Looking at what he's doing with the driver, looking at the around the green play on the putter, I think he can overcome that. It's a golf course that he's played well before. He's made 3 out of 4 cuts here. putt well most of the time, drove in it well most of the time. So at a golf course where around the green and putting spike gets rewarded, I like Sungjae a little bit. And at his price of $8,400, I think it's definitely viable in this field. So Sungjae Im and Chris Gotterup are two golfers I'm looking at in the DFS market. Taking a look at the betting board. Let me pull it up real quick. 1-0 Japan, by the way. Wow. 1-0 Japan. John Deere Classic. Taking a look at the betting board, we have Ben Griffin as the favorite on this book. Chris Gotterup second. But the golfer that I want to look at down the board a little bit. And that is, where is he? Did he move a little bit? Do we have to command F him? No, he didn't. I just skipped over him. That's Pierceson Coody around 30-1. Now, Pierceson Coody is also in a little bit of a rut with the approach play, but this is a very easy golf course, a golf course that he's played twice. Doesn't have the best course history, but I love the driver and the putting upside he brings to the table. The putter has been so hot for the last 5 weeks, and he's a very plus distance, plus accuracy driver when he's going well. And I just like him in easier scoring conditions. So that's Pierceson Coody around 30-1. I think he's just good enough and confident enough to pop in a field like this. And the second guy I wanted to touch on is a golfer who has won recently. That is Ben Kohles around 90-1. Just won on the Korn Ferry Tour a few starts ago, and I played really well. T23 at the US Open, another T20 in the Korn Ferry Tour last week, T29 at the RBC Canadian Open. And look at these approach numbers. This is special stuff from Ben Kohles. And we've called him a generational flusher in the past, and that's what Ben Kohles does. He ball strikes the hell out of it. Played this golf course 4 times and has hit it well every single time. The putter just has not cooperated. I love what he's been doing recently. He's got a win under his. He won losing 4.5 strokes putting. That is just pure ball striking excellence from Ben Kohles. So I love what he brings to the table. Ben Kohles 90-1 is definitely a look that I will be taking this week. And finally, before we get into the fun stuff, I wanted to take a look at the website. So here at Ship It Nation, we have projections, showdown content, the Stone 2.0. The Slate Station is where you're going to get those outright selections. You're going to click right here, and you will get write-ups. You will get a ton of stuff. So you're going to go to Join the Nation. If you want every single sport, hit All Access, get the Optimizer, get SaberSim. If you just want golf, just want the golf content, bang, right here, single sport, PGA, Optimizer plus PGA plus Optimizer, get that SaberSim, and use that code BOOTS. Gets 10% off or a free week if you have yet to try. So Ship It Nation, code BOOTS, join that nation. Next thing I wanted to talk about is 3 things: a pivot, a chalky build, and a pivot, a chalky build, and the one golfer that I'm on. I forgot my workflow. So the first thing I want to do is the chalky play. I believe this golfer is going to come in a little bit higher owned than projections are going to show. That is a golfer by the name of JT Poston. He is $9,300. He's also a recent winner on tour just a few weeks back at the Memorial, and a recent winner of the John Deere Classic. Also has other top results. Very, very solid pop short game for JT Poston. And if you watched any of the Travelers, you're going to realize that this solo 69 was not the worst performance in the world. He was playing fine up until he made a 12 on hole 13 yesterday. I'm not taking too much out of it. Just finished T4 at the US Open, came off a win at Murrayfield Village. Difficult golf course where you have to hit the ball very, very well. I think JT Poston is very confident. I think JT Poston is in a fine spot, and I think everyone's going to think the same thing. So JT Poston is the chalky golfer of the week. Now I'm going to go with the pivot. The pivot is going to be Michael Brennan. Michael Brennan is going to come in this week at $8,500. So he is surrounded by golfers like Doug Gim, who's a local guy. Tom Kim, who didn't play last week, but everyone would have jumped on Tom Kim last week. Sungjae Im at that cheap price. Pierceson Coody. I don't think people are going to touch Michael Brennan at that much at $8,500. Michael Brennan's coming off of a nice little run as well. He missed the cut at the Canadian Open, but he finished T6 in Canada, had a nice little run of majors, made the cut at the PGA Championship, had a nice Masters. And the driver putter build, even though the putter's not that hot, is what Michael Brennan brings to the table. And it's the kind of golf course where he can launch it and be one of those long hitters that finds fairways and just has flip wedges into every hole, gets hot on the putting green. So Michael Brennan is the pivot in that $8K range for me. And then finally, the one golfer that we are on. The one golfer that we are on is going to be Austin Eckroat. Austin Eckroat, he's not in the best of form at all, but this is a golf course that suits his game. And his game is driving accuracy and middle irons. He's played this event once before. I thought it was being more. Once before, and that was a T11 back in 2025. That was last year. I think I had him last year too, and he just had a week. Yeah, I think I remember having Austin Eckroat last year, and he didn't pan out all the way, but he played well. So I don't love his form. I love his price. In DraftKings, Austin Eckroat is $7,100, and I like his ceiling at Rin. And we've seen Austin Eckroat just come and win before. So I love the ceiling that he brings. I love the style of golf course that we are going to get Austin Eckroat on. So he's the one golfer that I am on. And then finally, the model. I don't have no model on Twitter this week. So the model is only on the Google Sheets. The model is, so you guys need to see this, is 1, Zach Blair, 2, Ben Kohles, tied for 3rd, Paul Pierceson, Chan Kim, and a big tie for 5th, Christian Bezadenhout, Aldrich Potgieter, Carson Young, Sudarshan Yilmaraju, and Tony Finau in a tie for 5th. I use accuracy plus around the green, accuracy plus approach, distance plus birdie or better percentage, accuracy plus distance plus around the green plus approach, and then distance plus around the green. Build 15 models, aggregated them into these 10 names to build my model. Also, take this with a grain of salt, because looking at the model results, I've never, ever, ever had a model winner from the JDC, a guy in the model win the JDC. So never. 0 for 4 the last 4 years of modeling. But we had that T2. The model's been we knew we were due for one. With Viktor was second in our model, and he won. We were definitely due for one after not hitting one for 3 straight weeks. Are we going to be due for a second one in 2 weeks? Or are we going to go back to the normal John Deere Classic with no model winner, no winner coming from the model? I think we're kind of going to get no winner. So don't expect me to build a card of guys in the model this week. So get to the site, Ship It Nation, code Boots. You can see the final card. You can see the DFS plays. You can use all of the tools. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'm definitely happy with that Viktor Hovland win. Before we get out of here, the song of the day for this episode is going to be Push Rope by Static Dress. Go check it out. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys on Thursday with the Showdown content. Peace out.